Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Kickin Tyres. I'm Adam Gray, and as always, I'm joined by Tim Barnes-Clare. Tim, how are we doing?
Adam, I'm all right. It's good. What about you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, just plugging away. Nothing major to report my end, but you've been on your travels, haven't you?
Yeah, got the glasses on today, as you can no doubt see, just so that I can see.
Yeah.
Actually, I find it's quite funny. Actually, I find that I get away without them most of the time, but just occasionally when you're knackered, I just life just it sort of goes into Technicolor when I put these on. It's like high res, and that's what I need today. So I can see it absolutely bang on this morning. Well, it's not even this morning; it's the afternoon. That's what I mean. My brain's gone. I think it's the heat. Although anyone like you that was brought up in the Middle East will laugh at the British, the horror of it being 30 degrees. Um, but I've got to say, I've had the last couple of days or so in Germany where it was a lot fresher than where I am here. And it was last night when I got off the plane. It felt like stepping into, when you go on a package holiday to Turkey or something. Got off the plane and thought, this is the United Kingdom. This is Heathrow. What's going on? Actually felt that hot. It's great. Apart from then when I got on the M25, the M4, and everything else. But hey, first
Then
world
you
problems.
realised you were actually home.
Yeah, but it was great. No, I was out there with Jeep. We were doing an event that was focusing on the Avenger and on Compass, and Jeep is, it's a fantastic lifestyle brand, and I would say probably one of the best known automotive brands in the world. Let's face it, it should be because it turns 85 years old this year, Adam. I bet you kind of knew that though, didn't you? It's been around obviously since the war. You don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I had a fair idea it was old. I didn't realise it was quite that old, but yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me.
And what's really nice is that, Jeep is never one to be shy about celebrating anything. And it's got an 85th anniversary Avenger out. Rather nice, actually, with little gold bits on its wheels and what have you. And yeah, I was speaking to a chap called Fabio. And Fabio is Fabio Cantoni is now the head of Jeep in Europe, but he's also head of Ram and Dodge brands. Although at the moment, certainly we don't get Ram or Dodge, but I think certainly certainly there should be some interest in Dodge coming up. Because a few people over there were saying, "Oh, you want to come on this Dodge event we've got in the future?" And I was going, "Well, that would be pretty cool." But I've got to know they're coming to the UK to make it worth my while. I don't know. Do you know anything more about that? It would be worth your while because the amount of stuff you do in the North American markets.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything about it specifically, but yeah, that would be good if it did come.
Yeah, it would. And, just going back to Jeep, obviously, I mean, that's the reason I was there after all. Jeep's heritage, as we've been saying, 85 years of age, it's so rich when it comes to its backstory. But, Jeep doesn't want to just talk about the past, clearly, it wants to talk about right now, the present and the future. And it's, uh, it's a car or a brand, rather. I mean, the vehicles that Jeep produces do fit, I would say, from the really young to the really old. It really does suit families. I mean, the Avengers is a great model because it's brought a whole new wave of motorists to the brand because it is just so compact and fun. You probably remember from the Renegade, the range of pastel colours that Jeep loves to spray paint their models in. And you can get all sorts of different interior colors. You can get washable seats. You get the off-road, clearly the off-road varieties. I mean, that's why a lot of people buy them in the first place. But then you get the Jeep Fanatics, and you get Camp Jeep as well, which is actually about to happen in the UK in Wales. Um, so, but it isn't just for the hardcore off-roading fanatics. It is, in its own right. Let's just say the Avenger, a very good compact family car. I was driving on road in the Avenger, on road in the Compass, which is a bigger SUV, would suit a family of five quite happily. But we were also going off road. And we were going off road with all sorts of different powertrains and on tarmac, from hybrid to plug-in hybrid to pure electric. It's There's a powertrain pretty much for everybody now with Jeep, and whenever you go on a Jeep launch, whenever I go on a Jeep launch, you come away sometimes scratching your head, sort of thinking, now there are so many powertrains and trims available. It is quite confusing. Um, but that's kind of a positive too, because there is just so much choice for the average person who has never had a Jeep, but is then thinking, wouldn't mind just popping in to visit a Jeep dealership. And it is like being a kid in a sweet shop when you're presented with all these Jeeps, and they look like sweets as well, the colors they are. I mean, honestly, just
Mm.
so much fun, and actually quite good value for money these days.
Yeah.
If you can't stretch to a Land Rover, Range Rover, or whatever, then fantastic. And of course, you see the clothing, don't you? Some people just wear Jeep caps or Jeep shirts
Mm.
and don't own a Jeep. Jeep bags. It's just it's pretty cool, pretty
Yeah.
cool. And Germany was an interesting place to be. We flew into Frankfurt, but I kept thinking like a madman that I was in Italy, because Jeep in Europe is based in Melfi. That seems very cool. And of course, most of the people who were leading the event were Italian. So I was like, oh no, I am in Germany, honestly. But it was a really good launch, and you and myself will be in Germany again, Adam, very, very soon, I believe. But Munich way.
Yeah, so I'm flying to Germany early Thursday morning, this coming Thursday. Um, Flying the long way around, Newcastle to Schiphol, Schiphol to Munich, and then back the same way. So I'm there until Friday. We're at an XPeng launch, aren't we? Which we believe, although they haven't told us what the launch is, we believe it's for the L03.
Yeah, honestly, it's
Uh,
all a bit sketchy at the moment. Yeah, I have my flight, so I'm going via Dusseldorf. I think Birmingham via Dusseldorf to Munich, and I think it's a direct flight home. I'm not entirely sure of the schedule yet, because I'm getting there a day before you, Adam. I think
yes, so you arrive on the Wednesday, I arrive the Thursday, and then we both fly back the Friday, don't we? Yeah,
we do
so
lots of days, a good 2 or 3 for me anyway, I guess, 15th, 16th, 17th, to get some content produced, and a good couple of days for you too. No driving, I believe. I think it's pretty much a preview, isn't
yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
But who
static
knows?
preview.
Who knows?
Who knows what they'll throw. But speaking of Xpengs, I actually had the Xpeng G6 on test last
Cool.
week. It went back on Tuesday, which the G6, although it's um, not long come to market, it's actually been updated already. I didn't drive its predecessor, so obviously can't tell you really the difference or whether it's a noticeable difference between the two. But yeah, I had a week with it, and by and large, I liked it.
Yeah,
It's
not bad.
it's a nice looking EV.
Mm.
Um, I particularly like that kind of wraparound light bar on the front end of it. You know, looks very similar to the new Tesla Model Y.
It does, and that's their,
Doesn't
their target, isn't it? Really, I guess the
Yeah,
Tesla Model Y. Yeah,
yeah, definitely. But yeah, nice looking thing. Inside, you know, it felt pretty luxurious. Felt pretty well built. Big infotainment screen. If I'm being honest, it was quite fiddly. Um, it does take some getting used to. Uh, you know, as I said, I had the car for a week, and I felt like I was just to say getting to grips with it. You know, after a week. So, but it is quite fiddly. Um, but in terms of driving, it's efficient. Um, but it's not a driver's car. If the truth be told, you know, don't be expecting to throw it around B roads. That's not, you know, what it's made for. The steering is a bit on the vague side, and the ride is somewhat uncontrolled. But that's not to say it's a bad car to drive, because it isn't a bad car. And as I said, it is efficient. But if I was being, picky, steering's a bit vague, the ride is a bit uncontrolled. But yeah, no, it was good to actually to get behind the wheel of an XPeng, because obviously it wasn't that long ago. It was a couple of months ago that I went out to China with XPeng, didn't I? So, and I did
Absolutely.
get to drive one XPeng vehicle whilst I was there, albeit it was, using the VLA 2.0, which is XPeng's full self-driving. But that was the new P7, um, which we haven't got in the UK, and to be honest, I can't see us getting in the UK. So it was actually nice to get behind the wheel of that. So grateful to the XPeng PR team for arranging that loan, and yeah, we're back
Yeah.
out. We're out in Germany in the next couple of days, seeing what we can expect next in the UK from XPeng.
Absolutely, because the G6 mid-size sort of coupe-shaped SUV um, was indeed, I think, XPeng's first cars to go on sale, or the only one here. But you're right, yeah, because I did drive the original G6, which was, you know, originally launched in its homeland a good couple of years earlier. But what I did find not amusing, but slightly sort of really was when I went to the launch of this updated one that you've just driven, and they were telling us that it includes over 20,000 incremental engineering modifications. I mean, whatever that really means in practice. I mean, there are new batteries with a full switch over to lithium iron phosphate. And I think the best thing about it was that I really clocked, because there's any car I drove there actually, was the was the all new performance version known as the Black Edition. Was that the one you had?
Yeah,
Mm.
no, no. So I had the long range version,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
but another motoring journalist who popped up on my one of my socials the other day, I noticed that they were currently testing the performance variant, and that's a nice looking thing,
It's
really nice looking thing.
really nice, and it really doesn't, as we've said, take much looking at the G6 to go, yeah, model-wise in your crosshairs. I mean, for me, I remember that the pros of it were very much extremely fast charging speed on that car that I had. Highly practical, got all the family in there, five of us. Nice interior, materials seem quality, quite quality, I would say. But the cons, now, they sort of stay with you, don't they, sometimes? Um, the ride quality wasn't great. I didn't think. Again, very subjective. Infotainment, bang on with what you said, very fiddly. And the frunk, as in the front boot or the front trunk, uh, that is an optional extra on it, which kind of seems a bit bonkers, because you get a lot of electric cars that are coming with that absolute standard, and there seemed to be
Standard,
enough
yeah.
room. So that seemed a little bit of an odd choice, really. But maybe something,
Mm.
because they do XPeng, and generally, without being too stereotypical, the Chinese brands do tend to listen to the consumers and the journalists, don't they, and make tweaks
Yeah, they do.
accordingly.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I had going back to what you were saying there about the boot space. Yeah, decent boot space. I was playing in an ice hockey tournament down in Leeds last weekend, so took it down there. And I've got my hockey bag's quite big. I've got a couple of sticks as well that I need to take down. So I kind of what I did was I opened up the electric tailgate and then kind of fed my sticks over the top of the seat, and they essentially, just to say, stopped just short of the roof. And then I put my bag in the boot, and there was still space for my bag for my clothes and stuff like that as well, and other bits and bobs that I needed to take down with me. So yeah, decent sized boot. A lad actually who I play hockey with, he listens to the podcast. Big shout out to Michael Anderson. He's actually just ordered an XPeng G6, so he was keen to see it. He's never driven one, and was keen to see the one that I had in the flesh, because that's essentially what he's ordered. And he's been asking me for my feedback. So Um, yeah, it's as I said, it's a great looking car. I thought the interior was well built, and it felt relatively luxurious. As I said, I was being really picky when I'm saying that the infotainment screen is fiddly. You're hard pushed nowadays to find a car with an with one of these big infotainment screens that isn't fiddly to use. They all take time to get used to. So that didn't really surprise me. As I said, I just thought the two areas where it was perhaps let down a bit was the ride quality and the steering feel, but as I said, that's not to say it's a bad car. Not a bad car at all. It's I suppose it gave me a bit of a reality check. This isn't a performance SUV by any means. It's very much one for tootling around, and people won't generally be throwing it around B roads, and maybe putting it through the paces to the degree that that we do
Yeah, yeah.
as
I
motoring
mean,
journalists.
it's quite ironic, isn't it? Because it's got the word performance in it, the one that I tested, the black edition one. Although I seem to remember that I think even the standard range one, it does, 0 to 62 in under 7 seconds. So, most electric cars are pretty rapid. But can you remember the electric range you got from yours?
It was about 300 miles, I think, off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
because I think with the
About that.
68.5 kilowatt hour battery in the standard range, um, you're looking, around 292 miles. But the long range will do allegedly 326. So, yeah,
Yeah,
real
I,
world, you're looking
I
late
probably
200s, aren't
wasn't.
you?
Yeah, I'm just looking here. So I had there's two models coming to the UK. Sorry to change the subject. So the G6 you were right in saying is the first model XPeng model that we've got in the UK, and it's been revised since it arrived in the UK. We are going to the launch in Germany of the L03, which is apparently coming soon to the UK, and there is the X9 as well, which is a seven-seater people carrier MPV kind of thing. So that's also coming to the UK. But going back to the G6, as I said, I had the long range on test. I'm just looking at the website now, the XPeng's website. So the long range is WLTP range of 326 miles. I would say I charged it fully before I went down to Leeds, and it was showing around about 300 miles.
Yeah,
Um,
not
0 to
not
62 in
bad.
6.7 seconds.
Yeah,
Rear wheel drive, it is the long range. It's not an all wheel drive. Boot space 571 litres or 1,374 litres with the rear seats folded. Um,
bang on for those
yeah,
hockey sticks. And
yeah.
I'm just thinking rival cars. Obviously, other than the clearly obvious one we've mentioned several times, I'll say it again: Tesla Model Y. Other than that, um, I would say that it would be worth looking at the BYD C Line 7, the Kia EV6, the Hyundai. Although everyone goes Hyundai, but I find it really hard to say that. Hyundai is what I was told years and years ago, and that's what I'll stick with. Hyundai Ioniq 5 should also be considered. Skoda's Enyaq and Volkswagen's ID4 and ID5. And I hate to say it, I mean, those two are great, but I hate to say it also, Ford's new Capri. And the only reason I say I hate to say it, because I remember I'm old enough to remember the original Capri. And
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
I'm not going to go on about it. It's been said and done, but it's not a Capri to me anyway. But anyway, the Ford's it's been around a long time, Capri, is also worth looking at. And French, let's not forget the good old French Renault Scenic E-Tech. I think for
Hmm.
me, being a family bloke, you being a family bloke, yes, it probably isn't that sexy, but it does what it says on the tin. Good EV, and if you've got a load of cash, whether you're leasing or whether you are buying outright, which very few people do these days, the Audi Q4 e-tron
Yeah,
potentially is one you could put up
yeah.
against it.
I've got
Although
a
I don't
question.
know, Yeah, go on then, mate. Sorry, what's the question? Go for it.
I've got a question for you. You've driven the G6, I've driven the G6. We both agree that the infotainment screen is fiddly. We both agree that the ride quality's not the best. My question to you is, what did you make of the steering wheel?
Um, Awkward.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what
not
I'd
round,
say.
it's more oval, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it's got that bit through the middle of it, which is very,
just
very
awkward.
Chinese. Very
Yeah,
Chinese or Asian, because a number of Korean cars have got similar styled steering wheels. But the reason for the shape of it is because obviously there's a secondary display, a driver display, which is, a screen. And if it was round, you wouldn't be able to see parts of the screen. So that's the reasoning behind it. But
absolutely.
it does take a bit of getting used to, doesn't it?
It really does. And actually, I've got to be careful here because there's an embargo on the Compass I drove. But I'll quickly say that we were mentioning, and this isn't a Chinese SUV, clearly the Compass Jeep. Steering wheel feels almost square, but it's certainly sort of a weird sort of square, but more like a hexagonal thing, bit like that.
Mm.
Again, lots of cars are going that way, or the way we've described with the XPeng, almost anything other than pure round. So I didn't, well, I won't say, but I didn't really find it hugely brilliant. Why ruin a good thing? I mean, round wheels tend to work, right? And I would say that overall, the G6 left a good impression on me. I would say, yes, there was some incremental step forwards with the new G6 just months after the original one came to the United Kingdom. But I still think XPeng needs to keep working hard to truly compete with established brands. But again, it's the same with all the Chinese brands coming here. Naturally, they've got to play catch up with the sort of brands that we know, the legacy brands, as they're called, all of the ones we grew up with. I won't name them, but we all know who they are. And it won't take long. I mean, look how far BYD has come in just a few years. And then we've got the likes of Leap Motor that is owned, 51% by Stellantis, 49% by the Chinese manufacturer. I think that Chinese brands could well have overtaken some of the legacy brands. I think they may even I think BYD has got some huge figures at the moment. Isn't that one of the best selling brands at the moment? Hasn't that
Yeah.
overtaken Tesla?
BYD, it's overtaking Tesla, yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
why not? Why not with XPeng? Let's see how it goes. I mean, I'd be really interested in Germany to see, because I think they're keeping it deliberately a bit on the hush hush about what we are going out there to see. Well, I hope so. I hope that's the case.
well, yeah, you say that. I mean, we received the invite and it said there's a launch in Germany. It's a static. But there was no mention of what the model was. And then just a few days later, I started noticing on XPeng socials that they're all of a sudden plugging this new model that's coming, the L03. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm putting two and two together here, and it's the first world premiere that they're doing of a vehicle. I'm putting two and two together and surmising that it's the L03. It might not be. It might be that G. It might be that what was it called? The other one that I was talking about, the MPV. I can't remember what it's called now. X9.
X9, yeah. Well, I mean,
Might
I
even be
just
that. Who knows?
excuse the bang there. That was my everything's falling apart. The window's open in my study, and there's a gust of wind that knocked my glass vase over. But remarkably, it should have a Euro NCAP 5-star rating because it hasn't actually smashed. There you
Nice,
go. And then the door
nice.
went. It's like the Exorcist's in here or something. But anyway, I think it's angry with me because I've not been to Goodwood, nor have you. Like
No,
everybody, even my colleagues, as I was flying home last night, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm knackered," And I said, "Well, thank God I'm not going to the Festival of Speed in Chichester." And they're all going, "Oh, I've got to go." Well, to be honest with you, in this heat and everything else, and the fact we're going to Germany, I'm as much as the Festival of Speed at Goodwood's really awesome, spectacular summer. event. I don't think that I would be in the best frame of mind to be there today. Got too much work on anyway, writing up an interview I did, as I say, with Fabio over on the Jeep launch. I still haven't got all of my instructions for next week yet, and I'm conscious that I'm flying off Wednesday morning.
I need to speak to you actually. I got an email about the parking situation. It's all covered. It's
Ah,
all sorted.
oh,
Yes.
good, good, good. So what I'd say is, do you feel like you're missing out on Festival of Speed? Because I've made my sort of point fairly clear, I suppose.
Um, no. If the truth be told, I don't feel like I'm missing out on it. I've never been, so I don't know what I'm missing. That's my honest opinion. Um, from everybody that I've spoken to about who's attended Festival of Speed in the past, they've said it's a fantastic event. It certainly looks like it. I'll be honest, I've got loads on my plate at the moment. I'm probably not in the right frame of mind to be attending, and it's mega hot here at the minute, isn't it, in the UK? So
Yeah,
we went to SMM
Costa
Costa
del.
del Teesside, yeah. Um, we went to SMMT for a day and were stupid enough not to wear caps or put any sunscreen on, and ended up paying the price and both burning and being beetroot red for a couple of days and having peeling skin. So, yeah, it's probably best that neither of us are attending Festival of Speed. But again, go back to what you're saying. Do you feel like you missed out? No, I don't, and there's a good reason why. Because every man and his bloody dog is posting it about it on social media. So I feel like I'm there anyway. And I'm not, that's not jealousy speaking. You know, I hope they all have a great time and stay hydrated and wear their sunscreen and caps. But I don't need to be there.
Absolutely. If you'd have been invited to the ball as well, you'd have had to have dressed up, and
Oh,
can you imagine? Well, I'm sure it's air
oh,
conditioned. It'd have to be, wouldn't it? But no, in fact, we're sort of raging against the machine. We're rebelling by not being there, by recording our well watched and well listened to podcast. The
yeah,
podcast that is growing. In fact, we did have some feedback, totally uninitiated, just saying, well done, guys. Because, we spoke quite deeply about some issues that you've had in your personal life, and it resonated, and it was really lovely. I got a text out of the blue from somebody that works occasionally in this industry, but I don't think I'd ever even mentioned we'd started this podcast. And he just said, look, I happened to listen to it, and I just keep it going. I can really resonate with what Adam and you have said, because he'd lost his dad quite recently. And so I think that it was a lovely thing. Bit by bit, this podcast, I'm sure, will grow. We're putting our energies into it. And yeah, I mean, it's just good to chat about the industry and also about the cars we've driven. We'll be back to talk about the cars we've seen that we've seen unveiled, I'm assuming, in Germany. I'll also be going to this month the Lepas L08 media launch, we've spoken on this podcast, I'm pretty sure, about when I went to Milan Design Week to see the Lepas L6 and L8 previewed over there. Well, this will actually be a drive of the L8, which is as Lepas would say, a premium SUV. Also, I'm aiming to speak to the chief there, Ray Wang. So, it'll be an interesting month. August, I thought, would be completely dead. It normally is in the world of motoring journalism, but there are at least a couple of launches that are on. Pretty sure Geely is doing a launch then, and I know that Kia is doing something too. So good job then, eh? I'm not having a holiday this year.
yes, just as well, Tim. Yeah, no, just circling back to something that you said there about the feedback that we're receiving. It is very much appreciated. It's lovely to receive messages from, from multiple people, supporting us and saying how, the stuff that we touch on resonates with them. It is very much appreciated. What's really important to us, if you don't already do so, please subscribe to us on YouTube and on all the major platforms, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, but also our socials as well. We share snippets and clips from the episodes to try and plug them to get more views. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. So we'll be grateful, if you like the show, and if you'd be we'd be grateful if you could follow us on our socials as well, and like and comment and share on our post. That'd be very much appreciated. But yeah, it's a busy couple of weeks coming up for you by the sounds of it. I'm just
Yeah,
keeping my head down, writing basically.
yeah, no doubt. By the time the busy couple of weeks are over, it'll be a case of catching up on the content, and probably it'll start raining if I do take a couple of days off. You know what it's like, Adam.
Quite possibly, yeah. So you keep working, because I am in. Also, although I've closed the window to record the podcast because I didn't want there to be too much noise from outside. Somebody's bound to get the lawnmower out, or the car come and beep or something. So I closed the window and I'm absolutely sweating.
Well, come on, then. Before we go, let's remind everyone. Can you remember all of our socials? Go.
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on X. Yeah,
And it's
Facebook,
without the
Kickin,
G.
yeah, without a G.
Kickin
Kickin
Tyres.
Tyres, yeah.
And worth you throwing your personal Instagram in as well, right, Adam?
Adam Gray Cars, yeah. Yeah, for what it's worth.
I think it's worth a lot. I mean, what am I on? Can't remember now. T Barnes Clay on Instagram. There you go.
Yeah.
And I did, and have dipped into the world of TikTok under Tim Auto _. So yeah, it's going to be good to see you next week. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you. We will have quite a lot to talk about in our next podcast, presumably. And yeah, our content gathering over at XPeng will be included, as I say, in Kickin Tyres' next podcast.
Yes. This one will be going out on Monday. This episode 7, and then episode 8 will be recapping what we've seen in Germany. You'll be talking about other launches that you've been on, and any cars also that you've had on test. So I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing you next week in Germany. Safe travels.
You too, Adam. You take care. See you in a bit.
All right, mate. Take care. Bye-bye.